Welcome back to the Yogilife channel. My name's Pops, coming at you from my beachside yogi cave with another 3-minute drop of wisdom on today, Friday, December 13th. So this week our friend Little Yogi chose the topic of the healthy ego. Let's start with maybe a definition. So psychologists describe the ego as this complex concept which is the part of the brain that mediates between your thoughts or your self-talk and reality. And it could be both positive or negative depending on how you manage it. So I want to take a step back and say that a lot of times, if you're like me, people were saying the ego, and I was like, what does that even mean, the ego? Think of it this way. It's kind of that little voice in your head that you hear in both positive and negative situations. So here's a positive sense of an ego. You're in a sporting event and the game's on the line and you can say, man, if I could just make this shot. And you hear this little voice that starts saying, you got this. Man, you've been training, you've got this, you can do it. And you make the shot or you execute. That would be a positive sense of the ego. On the flip side, a negative sense of the ego would be where someone gives you some constructive criticism and you hear this voice in your head, can you believe this clown telling me what to do? I mean, you can't let them get away with that. You got to insult them. Get angry. They're trying to tell you what to do. That would be like a negative, view of the ego. So it's that it's that voice. You want to step back and hear. First just be aware that there's this voice out there. And let me give you some examples of the positives and negatives. A positive ego would be things like self-confidence. So it's helping you strive for personal growth and success. Resilience, if you're facing adversity, to help overcome it. And even self-protection. If you're being treated unfairly, the ego will help you to stand up for yourself. On the negative side, you can go to things where you're so self-centered and you're so self-absorbed in yourself and your ego that you don't, even want to hear what other people have to say. You're just disregarding other people's emotions. Another one would be arrogance, where if anybody gives you some constructive feedback, you just completely dismiss it. And the last and maybe worst one would be defensiveness, where someone gives you some, again, positive feedback and you just get take it as a real negative and a challenge, and to the point where you get frustrated and angry about it. So that would be the negative ego. So what's the wisdom? So the wisdom is to take a step back and first be aware that there is this self-talk, and that self-talk is the ego. And then put in the energy to create a healthy ego by managing that self-dialogue. Because ultimately, a healthy ego is one that contributes to self-esteem and personal well-being without overshadowing other people's empathy and cooperation with others and your own humility. And so if you can achieve this and put in the good work, you'll be living a more fulfilled and peaceful life. So if you like this message, hit that like and subscribe button, and I hope everything's good in your world. I'll be back next Friday with another 3-minute drop of wisdom. Until then, namaste.